Recording in progress.
All right, welcome everybody to the Monday, January 22nd, 2024 Park and Recreation Commission meeting. We do have a quorum. We know we are going to have one of our commissioners join us in the next 10 to 15 minutes from a prior engagement. And we also know that one of our other commissioners is out sick tonight, and we wish her nothing but a speedy recovery. So going off the agenda, as we usually do, the open forum, if any public comments. I don't think we have anybody in the queue or in the waiting room. Shocked that we do not have any guests here tonight, because we usually have a good crowd for our meetings. But we'll just have to go with the chair's updates, which I always do in the past, is I will give updates throughout the whole commission meeting. So now we will jump right into the director's report, where we will have both Hannah, our assistant director, and Stacy, our director, give us updates.
Excuse me, so winter programs, starting this week through beginning of March. I talked to Chris today, he doesn't have the exact percentage of the number of programs that did not run, but it's really low this winter. With the exception of our coding programs, which we're not the only people that register for them, like other towns register and they self-register, so we actually omitted them from the percentages on purpose, because it would just bring us down. But we're doing really well. A lot of programs are running certain programs like the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup Snack Engineer thing, 0 people.
Really?
What? I feel like if we sent that out for the adults, it probably, so how to make not allergen free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you already have the product purchased that we can't put it to waste?
Right.
Just wanted to make sure. I mean, we're not here to waste money.
Constructed.
Yeah, as he constructed. Okay,
So those are good. February, our February vacation program is full.
good.
To date, we may, depending on the number of staff we get, that number may tick up, but right now we're good. Our mind and motion that I spelled wrong.
Again,
Still, those are actually really good. Usually we have 3 or 4 and they run it for us anyway. That's a good number. And then our spring programs, they are creeping up. None of the programs are very full. That's typical. We're pretty far up.
We've seen that, like snowy days, 220 we have, it says Tuesday 5, we had 5 people signed up for that day.
Yeah, but if you look at the bottom underneath that, the full week, 21 people. So 21 people are coming every day, plus 5 people.
That's 5% for Tuesday only.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, we cap those daily ones at 5 until we get a little bit closer and see what we can bring in with our ratios. Because we run it with the same ratios as our camp ratios.
So I look up about like a Dutch ballroom dinner, you had 4 people.
Mm-hmm.
But so are they part of a bigger group somewhere else, or is that we just had 4 people sign up?
Just for us, he has for a ballroom, usually those people come in painfully late every week to the point where we usually bump it out a week and then he has 10 people. They drive us crazy every single session. So 4 at this point is actually high for him.
Okay, because that's only 2 days away. Right?
Yep, by Wednesday he'll have 8. Any other questions on the programs?
how is the Neshobaski and board doing? I know that we were kind of,
Great.
and then also we got a bunch of people. How's the program running?
So we're at capacity for the program itself, and we are also offering 1 week specials, so if you want to come just by week basis. But for right now, we are full with roughly 20, but our numbers have been closer to 24 or 25 with the additional people.
Yeah, so this is outdated already. We have 21 for the full week, 6-week program, and we have 3 for this Saturday, 2 for the 3rd, and 3 for the 10th.
Wow.
So good amount of enthusiasm in that program. So
Yeah.
it seems like it'll be a fun program.
It's good. This week was a little daunting because of the weather, but once we got up there, it wasn't bad at all. And it was sunny, so we had that in our favorite spot. And there was snacks, so that's always a plus.
That's awesome. That always helps them out.
Yeah.
The other thing that is knocking out of the park is Chris is in need of indoor play, open gym and indoor play. So we have 23 people that have registered, that's actually higher now, for the full season pass.
Wow.
And then these are the numbers for our daily rates, if you wanna sign up, there's an early bird, there's an early hours, a late hours, and then an exclusive gym, if you wanna like, say you want, Chris, you wanna host like a basketball pickup game.
Sure.
You can book the gym
Oh, wow.
to do that, so we have somebody there, the first Saturday of every month, which is actually not on here, is when we have Knucklebones come in.
Oh, yeah.
People loved it. The equipment that they brought in is something we are looking into purchasing because it's simple and inexpensive enough that with the popularity of these things, we can just run.
Okay.
It's not facilitating, it's simply just that.
We have a staff member, and a first aid kit there the entire time. That's it.
Okay.
Checking people off, making sure they're registered. We've gotten some pushback about, adults coming in with kids not wanting to pay. But we've run it basically the same way we run the pools. If you're coming in, you're paying.
Okay.
Why would they think they would need to pay? Because it's for their kid, not for them.
And they're not playing, they're not.
Of course they.
Oh, I got it.
Can you imagine your 2-year-old running around and using it like you're. So.
That's happening.
We've only had one person, Kaylee, the person staffing it, texted us saying like, heads up, you may get a complaint. We didn't do.
Okay.
So,
We've also talked about the late hours, if not as many people are signing up for that, because it is an older group, to just open it up to people in general. See where.
we separated age groups
Yeah.
purposefully. So far, the later group's a little bit lighter, so we may just extend.
Okay.
Our fishing festival is up to 40 and Touch the Truck is up over 50, so.
That's great.
Just a quick screenshot from last week, we have updated it, I created a new page on the ice status to make it very clear. Chris updated it yesterday to say Horsford Pond, large and small, because I forgot there was 2 there. We are still under 6 inches. So we recommend, Park and Rec recommends 6 inches of ice before we say skating is safe.
I know that at least there was, myself and one of the other health commissioners were texting back and forth over the weekend because there was this big news report. Excuse me, of the one that borders Medfield and Walpole. Can't remember.
Yes, I know that one.
That report, and then of course, having children, they were on the ponds this weekend.
Of course they were.
And it's one of the things where, again, you say it's a skate at your own risk type of thing, but I mean, it's. For the ice status, is that the same as you sign up for like the field status that you have to ask for the alert to know? We're just not gonna send it out.
I haven't, that's a good question. I don't think I've set up a nice status. This is just a web page.
I don't get a nice status.
I don't even know if there was an ice status, like I just know we used to get it for the fields,
We
yeah,
can set one up.
right,
that's a good
just
idea.
something of like, it'd be great to let people know. Kind of thing like that, but I mean, it's good to know. I didn't know that we had that many places
We sure do.
to skate.
It does feel like the last time it's been updated, I checked the website at least 100 times on Saturday. To see if there was an update.
We don't update it on the weekends
I know.
because GPW doesn't do ice.
I think
cream.
that just has to be clear, because it's like.
That's a good point.
There was no ice skating at all last year. This year, we were like on the cusp of it happening, and after 3 days of really cold weather on the weekend, it felt like, oh, there's gonna be an update any minute to tell me if it's safe or not. And I just think,
We should put right here that we, Park and Rec, the town does not make ice status updates on weekends because we don't have the stuff to.
Yeah.
Really too bad, that's
I think
when
it's
people
still-
need it,
right,
that's when people wanna skate.
and you think like, oh, I'm gonna wait and I'll see if Saturday morning
Yeah.
it's gonna be available, or it's gonna be safe.
That's a good question. We make that.
One of the things I will say though, is I'm gonna put my trust in humanity here, that there are gonna be responsible adults that if you are at a place on the weekend. And if an adult is there saying, there's no way you should be skating on this, that they will do the right thing. If anyone else comes up to start skating, that they won't be.
When we find people on the ice, the reservoir out here, we will go over and say, hey, just so you know, we don't feel like the ice is safe for skating. We don't kick people off because it never works out well for us. But we will say the ice is less than 6 inches. We don't think it's not safe for skating.
Question to ask though, like with the places that we do we have any form of any safety equipment?
There should be
Like, yeah,
a
like,
throw bag at all
Some-
of them, I don't. I'll reach out to Mike, the assistant superintendent,
Mhm.
because I don't know if you guys know, Ed is only in the office now Mondays and Fridays, because he's a grand juror.
Yes,
Oh, I
So-
didn't know that.
until like sometime in March, I think,
That's
right?
a huge
Yeah.
commitment.
Yes, so he's there, he's down in Dedham Tuesday through Thursday all day.
Boy, that's too bad.
So we'll reach out to Mike and find out a couple things, is there safety, like throw bags, and potentially if, we'll talk to see if Lou has the ability to do ice checks. I don't know that Lou does, but we will
Okay.
find out.
Is it typical that we would have throw bags? I ain't ever remember seeing a throw bag.
So what they usually do is they put a sawhorse out at every site, so that when it's not safe, we put the sawhorse out, and there's usually a throw bag.
One at Farley Pond.
There was.
A throw bag and a sawhorse?
Yep, I saw it.
Okay, good,
Great.
okay.
I haven't driven over there, I can't see it from here. But. My eyes ready. Winter programs began, great success, like I said, the first gym had over 40 participants. Did you check with Kaylee about this past weekend? It was still very popular, I know that. Brochure is live. Field permits continue to come in, and it is working out the conflict, so we put everything in the spreadsheet, and now we're at the space where we start working on the.
Got it.
We're hoping to get it done within the next week or two, because we want it out as soon as possible.
Well, just by history, nothing is really that new this year. We're always gonna have a Memorial Day soccer tournament. We're always going to have graduation. We're always gonna have, opening day and certain things like that. There's nothing.
It's all the same conflicts.
Relay from
Mhm.
Yep, all the things have come up, nothing new has come in. We are working on reaching out to the road race that we talked about last week, the bear run.
Yes, I did talk to, I can do the update now. or-
Sure.
So nothing about the rotaries will change, so
Okay.
it'll probably be potentially 50 more, but it's already at 500, so it's not gonna like change.
So I go 500.
No, yeah, and that was, I learned all about that last week, so I had more updates, I wasn't sure how many more people would be coming. But we're not expecting a huge rush, so from a police detail, it's not gonna change, from a facility standpoint, it's not gonna change. It might change the configuration of where we're holding people, but it's not gonna, won't change the length of the event, so I think the permit as it stands and how it's built is like how it will remain.
So we can vote on that.
Oh, that was one from,
We punted
Bass,
that one.
right?
Yeah.
Got it. Just one more thing on the field permit. Has there been any groups that we've had to reach out to say, hey, it's past the deadline? You gonna submit anything that we usually would see?
As of right now, I think I only have 15 total. I don't know what we've had in previous years, but I have at least from softball, baseball, soccer, lacrosse, and track.
We have all the big ones and then a few of the small, like I looked at the list, it doesn't look like we're missing any. As we go through the conflicts, we'll go back to last spring and see like, are we missing anybody?
Mhm.
But nothing's jumped out. at us.
Okay. Perfect.
Here's the link to the ice status. We'll update to give more language about the weekends, Michelle, that's a good comment. FinCom will be February 7th. We'll be there right after Health and Human Services, I will be in person that time. Not be at a conference. Active rec capital projects, the active rec feasibility study, we have made a final decision. Our consulting group is CHA Solutions, and the skate park subcontractor is Arc American Ramp. Those are their websites if you want to go on and see what they do.
Was this the company that had a former person from another?
Weston and Sampson,
Yes, got
that
it.
originally worked on the pool, Mike Mooney.
Got it.
Claxton Field, the recent update is within the next week or two, we'll get the final bid documents to the town. We will go through them to make sure we're not missing any before they actually go out to bid. So that's within the next week or two.
And when we do get to town meeting, select board will be presenting, Eddie as a backup as us.
I guess it's gonna be Karis.
Okay,
I don't know that for sure, but my guess, because of the involvement of DEP, it will be Karis.
Good.
With Eddie as a support.
Support, okay.
Would you expect us to be part of that presentation?
Nope. Nope, I'm not expected, but
Yeah.
you know, if there's questions, you guys would be in the audience anyway, so that's not.
And hasn't been any changes, there's no impact to the timeline. We're on track.
That's right. Fazio. The update since I sent this out, I don't know why I send these out on Friday, because I got so many updates on Friday afternoon. We did receive the quote back from Fuss and O'Neill about, we asked them for a quote to do some. Schematics,
Mhm.
like 3 different design options. The quote came back an astonishing amount
For the, wait,
for just design.
who wants to take a guess? Michelle, take a guess. How much?
$1.
It's under 30.
Under 35,000 is what we have for feasibility. 20.
What is it?
I'm glad Adrian has a chance to go. That's fantastic, great. 27?
So, myself and the engineering department, including Tom Ryder, are gonna regroup. Because playground companies, if you ask them to do visuals, they will do it.
It's part of their sales,
Very
part of their
close.
sales, right?
However, we wanna make sure we're doing it the appropriate way so that we're not closing any of our vendors out of the bid process. There's that very like, careful medium where you don't want the bid to be so specific that then they can't bid on it.
Why do we think this came back at such an exorbitant amount compared to what we've done in the past for other feasibility studies?
We have no, I honestly have no idea. Already called me on Friday and he's like, is this normal? I said, absolutely not.
What were you expecting, Steve?
600? No.
Yeah, less than 5,000.
Yeah, knowing that if a playground company had bid on it, it would be nominal,
Sure.
so.
Do you think because of the surroundings of it's on wetlands or conservation land, or it has anything to do with?
If it was a new playground going in that space,
Yeah.
sure, but it's not. We're replacing a playground that already exists. In a smaller footprint, so
Wow, that is
not sure, but it was
discouraging.
forward. McLeod Field, couple of updates, scoreboards installed and operational, the tension backstop installed and completed, the ball netting will be installed or has already. Left to be done, batting cage nets, dugouts, and the testing of wires at the end of the month. One other thing that's come up that Eddie and I are gonna meet about with Ty and Bond is with the installation of the backstop pads. It has rendered the bleachers useless.
Can't see anything but the back.
You cannot
You
see it
have-
unless you're on the top.
Okay,
So we are gonna work with Ty and Bond on like, what are the options? If we lift the stands, then we have to put in a ramp
make it make sense.
for ADA, so, we're working on pulling together a group to have that conversation. We've got some time to make some options. Engineering has some ideas, so we are regrouping on that one particular spot.
When you were there that day, you said, oh, won't be able to.
But it's
see
one of the, I think Eddie said it, that's a, whoops, like, because we have never installed padding like that on any field. So we didn't take into account, it was never taken into account of where the eye level is. If you have chain link, you can see right through it. Since you don't have a pad, you're now missing everything below this.
And if you're sitting even in the middle, because of the pads, you can see the outfield, great,
Oh, yeah.
but you can't see anything.
You know, see, you have a tall child.
Yes.
So-
Or you're in the back row standing up.
At the backs. Which is a fairly new concept in general,
The pads.
Right.
the pads to put those in. I'm not saying they were the wrong thing, but we're gonna work a time bond, because it's something we think they should have at least asked for us to say, so we're gonna say like, is there another option? Is there
Mhm.
some sort of plexiglass? Is there this? Is there that? Do we have to move it? If we move it, what are the ramifications? So.
And the pads are there to protect the athletes from, or kids from running to the fence, when they run the fence into the fence.
Which I think, being a softball parent, never gonna sacrifice safety just so you get a better view.
No.
I mean, and you're also not going to have parents hang out right behind the catcher and the umpire. So I mean, yeah, is it awkward that we have the bleachers back there that you can't see anything? Great, let's have to look for another
No, I
option.
think my drive will be the accessibility.
Mhm.
So like, now that the stands were accessible, so if you were in a mobile, like, you needed a mobility device, you could get into the stand and watch. Now it'll be like, okay, where else can we offer space for people to be able to?
While raising them, the,
If we raise the actual stands as they are now, we have to put it.
you would have to anyway.
Oh, yeah.
You can't have features that you can't see, right?
No, that's correct. Yeah, it's.
So, no, it's not, it's like, do we raise them, do we move them?
Right,
So we can move them, but that means we have to pour a new concrete pad, what do we, just leave the other concrete pad where it is, like, so there's just a number of options of like, okay, what do we do now
yeah,
to make it better?
And is there a spot to move them to, or are you gonna be outfield, where do you?
My guess is yes.
All right.
We'll have
Past
to-
the,
past the-
warm up tunnels, yeah.
Yeah, have to kind of go top of pitching, so then it'll be not the best view, but,
Right,
so,
or you stand, right? Well,
Yes.
it's like, right. you want
yeah,
that.
we can stand, yeah, we can stand,
You have options.
so.
there are options, it's just more about accessibility,
Yeah.
so we'll have to figure out the right options for,
But I did walk and scoreboard looks fantastic.
does it?
The padding also looks great. The netting is up. It's a little bit of an optical illusion because you really can't see it. It's not as dark as you would like a metal fence, but like the netting is up and it's good. It's gonna be a great looking field. Too bad it won't be the same thing behind home plate. Yeah, it's okay.
And it's just teamed up.
Yeah, stand up.
Well, we used to not have a place to sit, so.
We got some stilts.
Exactly.
Stilts, everybody. Tennis courts was up, presented to CBC. They did have a few questions. Well, one of them did. I have not received the questions via email, like the specific questions that we need to answer. I talked to Eddie. He also has not received them, so I reached out to the lead, to the CBC admin to find out, and I'm just waiting to hear back.
It went pretty well.
I thought it went well. The only thing I think is an easy thing to get accomplished is there was one CPC member that qualified this as a school project. Which it is not a school project. It just happens to be on school ground, but the park and rec governs the land that it is on. If we can just get a quick letter, statement, something like that from the school committee saying we approve this project, I think that would put.
So I sent an email to Ryan, athletic director, Dan Gutkans, and Aaron Seacott.
Perfect.
And just said, look, this is the project, we're moving forward, we have these questions. If you'd like me to present at the school committee meeting, I'd be happy to do that. Otherwise, we just need some sort of information. Dan emailed me back today. I haven't actually gone through my emails today, so I'll respond to him. But I did also bump into him on the way to a meeting and he said, I don't think it'll be an issue, but let me just check and we'll move forward. So they're in support
Got it.
of it. It's just a matter of like, do we check off the box of like, school committee way and approve it or say thank you or whatever it is.
Well, isn't there, I think, something to check on the CPC application?
Say that again.
Isn't there something that said, if you're asking for a project that is on somebody else's property?
It's technically the town's property and under the government.
Right, but it's under the jurisdiction of the school, I think.
Nope.
No,
Jurisdiction
tennis courts are not.
So those courts are not, even though they're on their property, okay.
Correct.
Sorry.
It's almost like the
Correct.
ones that Newman. Same
It's
thing.
like, it's
Right.
one of those weird things where it appears to be on school grounds and it
If we were
is
doing nothing on their field, for example.
Well, high school.
technically
That's
Memorial Field is
part.
also not part of the school grounds.
Just-
If we were doing something on Pollard Field, yes.
Yes.
Right, that's. what I'm
Okay,
saying.
you're right. Okay.
Right.
okay,
Yes,
great.
it's just one of those things
Okay.
where visually it looks like it belongs to the schools, but in action.
Elliot, plan to redo Elliot.
Right.
Yes.
We didn't like it when they tried to do something with cricket, the schools tried to do cricket.
Summer staffing has been posted. So to date, it was posted last Wednesday. Today we have 18 applicants.
Oh, wow.
And those are new. Those are not returns. Those are just new. So people are interested. So that's good.
Fantastic.
And that's it.
Any other questions or comments from the commission in regards to the director's report? All right, going into discussion items. We do have a few on here. There's one that I would ask that we actually bump just because I wanted to do a little bit more information, would have to do on the Needham Court badges. Jimmy brought it up last time. I think it is definitely worth a discussion. Especially if we're gonna be doing feasibility studies for possible new pickleball courts. I want to do a little bit more research on this, proposal or this discussion. Also, I'd like to have it and make sure we all have a full commission when we talk about it. If we know that Dina is not here tonight, then I'd love to have it. Five of us are here and we're all kind of talking about it instead of, oh, it's delays. So.
So that would be 2 meetings.
Yes, that will be 2 meetings because next one is the field summit. So it'll be in 2 meetings. That would be, just jump around here, would be February 26th.
So hopefully I can do it on Zoom,
You'll be on vacation?
going away for a month. Okay,
Okay, where are we going?
Florida, we're driving.
Oh, geez, okay.
So,
We can talk to
Question
you.
though, on the 12th,
Mhm.
just a suggestion, typically we run the field summit at 6 to 7
And
and then do our meeting. So I can put the court badges on the 12th meeting if we have time to get to it, we can, but I agree, we should allow enough time, so if it's getting tight, we could bump it.
let's keep it on both. We'll keep it on.
I realized this week that, I have Zoom in my car. I don't know if it actually works.
You're allowed to do that?
No, I'll
Well,
drive.
no,
Oh, I was gonna say.
but I realized I'm looking at the apps on it.
Yeah,
and they do.
It'll just, it
It's the
doesn't
same
show
as
the
on
video,
your
it's just an audio.
Is that, no.
Oh, wow, is it?
I have a Tesla. They
Ooh.
have videos of everything. I watch Netflix. I mean,
Jesus.
I don't know.
When you're driving, it would show.
No, I wouldn't do while I was driving.
All right, wow, okay.
Chair, can I ask,
Yeah, you may.
Question about the court badges. Yeah, I would address it to, our Commissioner Jim. Last time, Jim, you had a number of suggestions.
Yeah. I can down some more, yeah.
I was gonna, if you could write them down and.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be perfect.
You know, maybe.
Yeah, I will.
I don't want to send them.
Send them to Stacy
us.
and Hannah and,
Okay.
Send them to Stacy, so
Yeah,
that
then I can distribute them.
we can
Yeah,
write some about.
I have ideas, they're not all fleshed out or whatever.
oh,
It
great.
would be
Suggestions.
to know,
Okay.
No, so we can maybe have a framework.
No, that's a good idea. Yeah, no, I appreciate
Love
that.
love that idea. So that's great.
I also wanted to just clarify where revenue from the badges goes, like where does.
It goes to the general fund.
Durham-
I did look that up. Chris reached out to me via text. I just did it earlier. It does go to the general fund, not the revolving.
Which, so can you just confirm how those dollars? can be used? They can be used.
So any
Yeah,
money
back
that
to
goes
direct.
back, so any money that,
Right, it's in the fund,
so
yeah.
yeah, so when we take money in, that money at the end of the year goes to the. Revolving fund is money in, money out. For lack of a better explanation, it's like having a check. Money comes in, money goes out. Pool memberships also go back to the town, like.
Yeah.
Some of our summer camp programs, not all of them, so certain things that are money makers go back to the town. The pool is an obvious one because of the debt. And so it offsets our other, like, line items, basically.
But the finance committee, and I'm sure Dave Davis and his staff look at. Park and Rec, what do we bring in and what do we cost, so that you can see how much money or loss you get from it. We're one of the few revenue generators, yes, a few departments that generate revenue. So, that is something that's always looked at. We don't pay as much attention as the commission, maybe we should, but I really think it's the director who has that responsibility. But it's a good question, but Stacy can't take that money and then use it.
Right, I just think it's an important
Mhm.
point to clarify, just in terms of the way that any additional funds coming through that channel can be used kind of directly into the courts, or, you know, there's no direct link to that. We would still need to pull money from, we would need to plan in a similar way that we have up until now.
But it's good to know what our programs contribute,
Oh, yeah.
right,
Mhm.
to the cost, right, and so.
So we
that's
have a
good.
budget line item for like repairs and maintenance for our facilities.
Mhm.
And part of our giving back to the town allows us to request more and more. Depending on what our needs are. Yeah.
So it doesn't hurt more revenue.
It's not a direct one-to-one.
No,
It's
no, but-
more of a-
But it helps.
Right, it helps, and we are looking at it that way. that
Yes.
We can generate revenue.
Yeah, it's much more of a big picture.
So,
You brought in this much, so you get this much. It's more of a, oh, well, you're actually in the black, so you need X amount more money. That seems reasonable.
Your priority.
Yeah, and you're prioritizing by maintenance and things like that. Yep.
Okay. All right, discussion items, the summer 2023 report. I know we had that on last meeting's agenda, but we were going through the field user manual, so we kind of bumped to this one. I thought it was a great report, going through it, how it broke it down number wise, how many days we were open. I thought it was a very thorough report. Questions?
What are you referring to?
The 2023 Rotary Recreation Complex pool end of season report.
Yeah, I thought it was nice, the report too, it was very interesting.
Sometimes a little bit too detailed, but that's a good thing.
Well, there's no such thing.
Not with Cindy on the committee, there isn't that.
Can I make a couple of comments?
Please do, yes, oh, it's
I
open forum.
I thought it was a very interesting report, it looked to me like our revenue was 417,000, expenses 443, right, so net outflow 26,000. I was wondering, what costs do you think are not included in this? Are there DPW costs, obviously your time, right, so you're not here, it's just, but are the DPW costs that are not included, or are most, it looked to me like it was pretty inclusive, but I was wondering.
Pretty thorough. Most of the work that DPW does for the pool opening is during work hours, so it's not on overtime. If there are certain things that happen and we need to call them in, we have a overtime budget specific for that. That's for my staff and DPW, so it would be, we could gather the information, but there wasn't any this season. That was enough to name in the report.
Okay.
There might have been slight overtime in relation to the flood, but that was all covered under something entirely different, so it didn't directly affect. the
It's
pool.
not a big, because it used to be, it was very hard to capture all the stuff that was done by other departments, we just have our department. And the opening and closing costs of the pool, are those in here anywhere? They are not, right?
They're not, because they are under a contract,
Okay.
and that is a budgeted item in our general fund.
Okay, and I'm just asking, because if you're looking at what does the pool cost us to operate? It doesn't
So-
just cost us that net 25,000 out, it's on top of that.
Correct.
There's a pretty good amount, and I don't remember what the opening and closing costs are. because
It's changed every year.
Yeah, they vary, but those, that'd be a big thing, if you're looking at,
So if you're looking at flat out net, it would have cost us more money than we need. If you.
right, which is not a
roll that in.
surprise, but I'm be curious how much it costs us.
We can pull that number and find out, that shouldn't be too hard, because it's a clear, it's
Right,
one
that-
bill in May,
right.
one bill in October, so.
That would be helpful, and I think it would be helpful to have in your report, or to have in your back pocket for the
Mhm.
finance committee. What does it cost us to run that pool? Does it cost us 100,000, does it cost us 200,000 there, and it costs us more than that 25,000 in that? And not counting, you know, it's there anyway, so.
Yeah, you don't want to.
No, but I mean, but you know, but if you, so take that out, but I think those other costs, those are pretty big, so it would be helpful to have that, and then, my other. Was it, I just looked at the percentage of where the revenue comes from, and 61% comes from the membership, which is pretty good, and then the next biggest thing is the daily revenue, which is a little under 20%, so, and that daily revenue is gonna be broken out by 2/3 resident, 1/3 non-resident, which is a little bit interesting to me. I would not have expected it to be that high on the non-resident side. And then it's been less than 10%, between 10% and products, or that was a small amount, but, So membership 61% and almost 20% of the daily, that's,
Mhm.
to me, that was interesting, so that's where we get our biggest bang for the buck, right? Correct. But I thought it was a great report, so thank you.
Well, here it's, let me do that. 20%, 16% there, I think it's great.
I looked in.
Oh, okay, oh, wow. That's all. Any other further comments? Because I know I have a few, but from any of the other commissioners? I love numbers that jump out, town staff, 183 members of the town came. I think that's great to know that. I really do. Days open, I mean, again, I think I read in the highlight of the report too, is that this is the rainiest season that we've had so far,
Since
And-
2018,
2018.
that's how far back.
Sorry, 2018. Plus losing a week because of flooding. I mean, but still, those are great numbers to be up there. You had mentioned also, I think at the last meeting, is that some of the numbers might be just a tad off of clicking. I mean, where we talk about resident visits of 5,800, that could go up to 5,900, it might go down to 5,700 type of thing like that. So not a huge difference, but just,
It's not a huge difference in more of the issues where we had so many fees, which I consolidated this year. We had the before 4 o'clock fee, we had the after 4 o'clock, we had weekday, weeknight, weekend, before and after. A lot of the mistakes were they picked the wrong time. So like, instead of being charged $15 for the day, they were charged $8 because they clicked the wrong.
right,
That's user error. Which is basically the precedence behind me being like, nope, we have one fee this day, one fee this time, we have one fee this time. So that it is less confusing for our staff and hopefully will bring down the number of mistakes. 'Cause we pull the reports the day after and I'm like, there's no way we had that many people after 4 o'clock when there was a swim meet. And then you go back and you're like, oh, this is, because we can actually see every single transaction.
Right.
So we know if it's
Timestamp
2 o'clock,
it.
you got a after 4 fee. That was a mistake. And,
Okay.
you know, a lot of it comes down to there's 20 people in line, you got a 15-year-old at the window, somebody's yelling at them and they're like, $8.
click, 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 yes, that's check.
And so like, yeah.
Actually, it's,
It's like the next
Free,
one, like,
free.
okay, everybody's yelling at them and like, I don't fault them because people are inherently impatient, but I think minimizing the number of options they can click will help that.
definitely. I know you highlighted some of the things in green, being scholarships, swim lessons. I'd love to see that number go up. I know there's another commissioner on this group that thinks that everyone should learn how to swim. I think it's a fantastic idea. I mean, so I'd love to see that number go up. It's also good to know what we do for, scholarships that are given out for families, people. We have an amenity here. We're not a for-profit location like a Lifetime or Boston Sports Club. We have a great, complex here that we want to have it open to the public. So if we have to give away scholarships, gotta give away scholarships.
Right, and I think that is something the FinCom should know too, because if you factor in the amount of scholarship money that we gave out. That puts us in the black versus what it takes to run, not exactly, but closer than we were.
Sure. What,
I don't know what I would think. I mean, I think it's great to do these scholarships, but
Yeah, we usually say that this week we were able to give out this many scholarships versus the number, because it's not exactly money.
Right.
We're just
We didn't
giving
give-
income.
If we didn't get those out, we wouldn't necessarily sell them. We probably would not. We couldn't turn, we haven't.
We were
turned
just
members
turning
away.
people away.
We haven't done that since. COVID.
No, and if we weren't able to offer scholarships, those people just simply wouldn't come.
Right, so I think it's a good thing to know, but I don't know how I wouldn't slow on the financial. Positive side, but I think it's a good thing that we do it, and if the town didn't want us to do that, then they would have to let us know, because. As a commission, we have always been supportive and clearly our department. Yes, directors.
One of the other questions I had in regard to expenses that I see that there are some of the vendors that are highlighted in yellow. Any reason why, or just like that color that day?
The colors are because they're not, they're probably a mix of 2023 and also 2024.
So
Which I-
New England Ice Cream, merge inclusion and hub testing are the three.
So most of those are accurate.
Okay,
I stated in the last meeting that the scholarships we're still working on and some of the yellow highlighted we're still working on, so that is no longer
okay.
up to date.
Perfect,
So we still have to make a couple changes.
got it. Anything else in regards to the pool running up 2023? And as always, the future is bright at Rosemary Pools.
No,
Wow, what a great way to end that one. The next report that we had in there was from Chris Burnham, our recreation supervisor, in regards to the report for the camps, the clinics, the classes that we have in the summer. I thought this was another well-written report. Questions, comments, concerns about the report? I know the one thing that I do agree with what Chris said in the report is that we got to get a little bit better communication with the guidance counselors on the report, which, again, we didn't think we needed to, but when you get the call saying these kids need to be in a certain program like this, great, you learn from the mistake and not do it, and now it's time to be more proactive and reactive.
So we had our first meeting with all the groups that we collaborate with in the summer, specifically all the school groups, today. I think there'll be some changes among them for this year coming up. Once those get sort of settled out, I'll bring that information to you, but I think things look a little bit different, which means the communication should be easier.
Sure. Right, any other questions in regards to those two reports?
That was great.
Any updated field user manuals that you need to kind of go over, or?
Nope, so in this one, the highlighted areas are things that we talked about adding, they're still a work in progress. I am still working on a document, once it's actually finished, I'll send it out, but it's all the things we talked about, AED, safety, CPR. Moving information about parking, adding things about dogs, all the things we talked about. There's just a few areas I need to update, but there's nothing new.
Got it.
There's no surprises.
And this field user manual will be ready by the summit
Should be ready by Wednesday.
Wednesday. We'll see it Thursday.
Mhm.
Perfect.
We do, because it's a big change.
Yeah. We're gonna bump the board of badges off the commission policies, nothing new that we need to kind of go over, correct? CPC, we kind of went over how it went for the meeting, last Wednesday, 2 Wednesdays ago, was it?
2 Wednesdays.
2 Wednesdays ago. I thought it was great. There were some, decent questions. One part of the town, I don't know if we remember this, but originally we were asking for the full amount, but now the town is kicking in a certain percentage.
Town is asking CPC to kick in 1.4.
Correct. And the total project we're rounding up is 2.5.
2.6.
2.6. So on the application, I guess it was originally put 2.6, we were asking for the full amount, but now it's only. What's the math? 1.3 each?
Yep.
Yeah, 1.3 from the town and 1.3 from CPC. So we'll be making it be digested a little bit easier when it goes up to town meeting. Playgrounds, facilities, anything going for that one?
Just any updates on the field manual, any other thoughts that you had on your drive home? Other than that, I'll make final adjustments, and then you would like to preemptively adopt it so that we can send it out with the invite.
Sure.
That's fine. You can do that in the action items.
Okay. Let's move on to those action items, shall we say? Special event approvals.
Before we go to the actual special events, I do have a request for you, Cindy. Last year with the car washes, we tried to mitigate the least amount of conflicts, so we have obviously graduation, Memorial Day tournament out of the way. But there was the July carnival. We're not trying to schedule the car wash the same weekend as that. Do you know when that might be for 2024?
So I don't, that is
That's
the
the
Rotary. Club
Okay,
that I'm in exchange for,
okay.
so I don't know what.
It's usually the same week every year, so
It
we
is,
look
but
at last year, we can guess.
And they do this annually now. I feel like it was like spotty at one point.
No, I
Now
think-
it's back to-
Yeah, I don't know if it's, if they've announced it, I'm sure they know, we could,
They-
but,
Absolutely.
I think they do it every year.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know.
Yeah.
Not in the roads.
Pulling up right now, they did July 20th to 23rd.
I was gonna say, if you ask Burnham, he'll know.
Yeah.
Yeah, every year.
Wonderful. Are we getting a lot of requests for the car washes?
Yeah,
Fantastic.
that's a yes, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Right now.
All right, let us jump now to the special event request. For the first one up here, we have Needham Boys Youth Lacrosse. They're looking to do hosting a Premier Lacrosse League Youth Clinic, excuse me. On March 24th.
So is this the same, like, the parents? Applying for it on behalf of. The.
Mike Tobin's is the head of,
Needham Lacrosse.
Got it, it would be like Dina doing that.
Correct.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's clarify, there, last meeting, there was. The seniors who wanted to
Yes.
put on a clinic, so.
Yeah.
It is hard to differentiate.
correct, no, this one is the head person for
Got
that.
And you would permanent field on March 24th, the synthetic field?
I would talk to Ed first.
Yeah, because that date really sticks out, doesn't it?
Well, it's just because,
It's pre-deceased.
and you gotta think that people are probably gonna walk on the, hopefully stay off the grass, but just get to and from. Who knows? My hesitation on this one, or at least my concern would be the trash. Is that by that time, the RTS probably isn't making trips to DeFazio at that time because the fields aren't open. So if you're gonna have an event like this, and they're just gonna put it in the receptacles there, it's gonna sit there, it's gonna sit there, it's gonna sit there. So I would ask if you do approve this. They take in what they bring in, or they take out what they bring in. Don't leave it in the receptacles, or get somebody to donate a dumpster or something along those lines. Because the RTS will not be picking up at that.
What's the date that our fields open?
Ideally, we target April 1st.
The
Right.
first date that is even considered as an option, and it is all weather dependent or sogginess dependent, is April 1st.
So this would be for prior on that, so that was the first thing you struck, that kind of stuck out to me was.
Now, they are reflecting turf fields,
Sure.
which
Yes.
makes it a little bit more of a gray area, but it will depend, it'll still be weather dependent.
Mhm.
It's covered in snow, the answer is no.
Correct,
As Chris
yes.
said, it's not like we have turf carpet and then we walk out there. We've got
No,
a bunch
it's
of
not.
Grass, right, at some point.
So. The first, depending on what your thoughts are. The next conversation will be with Ed, so have the first now.
Mhm.
Cause he'll be the team that has to make sure that, like, I don't know if it'll be lined in time.
Oh, you're right. And you also gotta think that Ed's crew is probably starting the opening of the fields by that time, so there could be equipment on the fields. I mean,
It's gonna be busy, so.
and what date is the 24th? Is it a?
I read it on March 24th, I mean, definitely. First draft. So unless you think that it's a good idea, or Ed, if you're right, Ed should be the, obviously the.
I mean, if it was my choice, I wouldn't permit anything before the first.
Right, and
We
that's
have
our
people out on
policy.
the
Yeah,
fields.
Have we in the past not done anything, even if it is synthetic?
The only time we've done it early is for the high school teams.
And I would suggest we.
But we do that for all the fields for the high school teams, like we let them in on the skins, not the outfields,
Mhm.
depending on the state of the fields,
Right.
obviously.
I mean, I would suggest that we say no, just because I can't see why we would set this precedent.
And they've never asked for it before, fields have been open, so it's the first time. And they're probably trying to say, hey, we wanna get in there before the field's open, because we know we're not gonna have any space once the field's open.
That's my guess.
Open.
I don't know, kind of hesitant on holding off on this one. And not approving it, because we don't want anybody else in the fields except the high schools. Prior to the fields opening of that magic date of April 1st. That, why do we have one group that gets to get on special law? Because we get one group on, another group's gonna ask. And then another group.
Yep.
It's kind of one of those things of like, why not just, everybody waits till April 1st?
So, Madam Chair, I would suggest that we just pass on this, don't take any action, and we can certainly bring it up at the field summit. That we've had groups starting to ask us to permit fields in March. It's against our policy, and unless you folks have some compelling reason,
Mhm.
we're probably not gonna change it, because if the fields become ruined, right, then it impacts everyone, it impacts everyone for longer, so, and our staff is, I mean, I guess, already busy, right? Our parks and boards for that, so why would we make it worse for them?
Right.
But I wouldn't mind addressing it, having us address it at the field summit,
Okay,
right, I mean, this, presumably somebody will be there from this group.
gosh, I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, it's not unreasonable if they could ask, but it's not unreasonable that we might say, we do.
Okay, well, I'm good with that.
That's my suggestion.
What other people think? You support it? Okay,
No, I support the approach to mentioning it at the field summit.
got it.
I think it's challenging to open the door to field use before this.
Right, because once one group finds out, other group's gonna find out, so, okay. We will bring this up or defer this to the field summit.
Right, and then you have some compelling reasons,
Yeah.
that, hey, we have this turf, it's artificial turf, why can't we use it, why can't, it's the whole reason we got it, and,
Mhm.
you know, we can certainly listen to them. Right,
Definitely, yeah, we're not saying no.
right, you know, they make us change our initial thoughts.
All right, so we're gonna defer that one. Next one up is the exchange.
4th of July. Let me get this.
So,
Oh, God, July 3rd. Oh,
and this application is still up, still well.
wow. Well, let's see, start up time 8 AM. Yeah, right. Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, believe me.
They're there at 8 AM.
Oh, there we go. Top of the hill, bottom of the hill, parking lots, multi-purpose. Gee, anything else you folks need?
Don't ask that question.
No fee. How do we make money now? My God, what do you, and only 40 cars. That is.
Well, that's all they, we
In
did
the
a
lot.
lot, in the lot, and that's very, pretty carefully policed, we have the police there and they mark it off for people with placards, plates, whatever, so.
Okay.
And I would not vote on this since I'm in the.
So say, we need a motion to approve and it can't be something.
Right.
All right. I guess I will make a motion to approve the Exchange Club's request for the 4th of July festivities noted on their form. Do I hear a second? I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all of those in favor of approving the Exchange Club request for July 4th activity, say aye. Aye.
We'll abstain.
Air coming through. Glad we have 4.
Next up is a coaches meeting and training for Needham Youth Field Hockey. They're requesting use of this room. They do understand that there's an overtime charge if they are on a Sunday. This has been the 3rd year they've requested this. It's been totally fine.
Okay. 1:30 to 4:30, and they've done it before, never been an issue. I do not see the issue with this, so I will make a motion to approve the field hockey request for the use of the Rosemary Recreation Room for the date listed on there. 4.
Second.
I have a motion in the seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Passes unanimously.
Next one is from the Needham Soccer Club. This is for the August high school prep clinics, which they have done in the past. There's nothing new from this request from the last few years.
Any big fee from this?
Mhm.
If we,
They're charged a clinic fee.
and how much is it?
Or something like that.
I don't know either.
Before the rate changes, it was $5 per person per day. I believe that rate was increased, but I don't know that answer off the top.
The reason I'm asking because I don't do it.
All right, this is again one that has been done traditionally, and I will have to say that they do a good job of actually adhering to the forms of cleaning up after themselves and doing what they need to do. So I will make a motion to approve the Needham Soccer Club Girls and boys high school prep soccer season for Sunday, August 11th through Friday, August 16th of 2020. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Do we hear any further discussion?
Are these some of the dates that conflict with other high school prep events that are, no preseason thing? That's
They're
more
prior to the
complicated.
preseason.
Yes.
All right, anything else? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye, passes unanimously. Anything else after that or
The
no?
last one that's not on here, but from last week is the bear run that
Mm.
we punted. We got Michelle's update, so if you could just formally approve the bear run special event from last year, that would be great, last week.
I would make a motion to accept the applications for the Great Bear Run 2024.
Additional like dates, and things you want to add?
Yes.
No, that is fine. No, this is it.
As requested
As
by permit.
requested.
2023.
Okay, all right, so we have a motion and I will second it. I was testing, see if you had it, you can look at the notes. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of approving the Great Bear Run form, say aye. Aye.
I have to see.
Or abstain. Anything else?
Well, it's not, a special event, but it is the field user manual.
Okay, we did go through that, yes. So you just need us to approve the changes that we went through page by page last time.
Go ahead.
Okay, I will make a motion that we approve the updates that we made to the 2024 field user manual that we went through at our last meeting. Those updates will then be reflected in the manual and be presented at the 2024 field summit meeting, our next one.
Second.
Motion in a second. Any further discussion? All right, not hearing any, all those in favor of approving the field user manual, say aye. Aye, passes unanimously. Fee approvals, summer camp fees. Do we have that?
You will in 1 second.
Oh, I said, I didn't see that, but I know.
It came in very late. So, but it is here. Here we go. So these are our summer camp recommendations, last year's under 2023, this year's 2024, so. These were also too. The biggest change for, there is a slight increase for each week. Based on staffing, basically, and supplies. There's nothing too different about it. There's two big changes. Kids art, we have a half day and a full break program. And we're getting rid of the Rocketeers, formerly known as mini Evergreens.
That's gone.
We canceled 4 out of the 6 weeks and we absorbed them into kids art. So we're dropping the age of kids art to 4 to accommodate more of those kids. And we're giving those kids a full day and a half day option. And the 150, I talked to Chris, I said, that's less than last year. He's like, oh, that's wrong. So he thinks this is a 185 number and not a 150.
Look at it.
It's actually going up.
So.
It'll go
180.
up, so it'll be,
You think it'd be more expensive than the mini evergreen, if there's more
yes.
material.
So it is gonna go up a bit, so it's gonna be 185, and that's not a hard number, but that's, Chris and I were just texting right before the meeting. But the 315 is correct, which is in line with all of our other specialist programs. And then summer recess and adventures, which is like what you would refer to your basic camp day, that's going up about $25. Chris did run the numbers of our neighboring camps and towns. A lot of the other camps around here, St. Seb's, there's some in Wellesley, they're averaging about $22 an hour.
Okay,
We're 9.
so even though we're going to increase, we're still a bargain. Do we get a lot of out of town, or is it only in town?
Mostly in town.
Okay.
And
We have a few, but not.
Was City Evergreen, that wasn't the playground, was it? Except that,
Recess is formerly known as
that
playground.
was playground, okay. So
It's just a
City
much more structured version.
I think that program's been around since,
1961.
I was gonna say,
I looked it up.
since people my age were kids. I
61?
mean, I know,
1961 is when it originated.
very popular program way back, or probably still is.
It's still a popular program. At the time, it was a great program. You dropped off, you picked and chose, you paid one price for the whole summer.
You just
Came when you wanted to and left when you wanted to. Under the CAMP guidelines, we cannot be quite that flexible, and the staffing was a nightmare from what I hear, so. Now, whether or not you come, you're signed up for the 2 weeks and we're staffed.
So do you think these prices are high enough? Do you think that we could charge more or should we charge?
Since I've started, we've slowly but consistently upped the prices a little bit each year. I think part of the point of having a, park and rec summer camp is, it is the affordable option. It's meant to be affordable.
Oh, yeah, and I don't disagree with
And I
that
think-
at all, but I try to be mindful of the business side of it. that we
Yes,
bring in.
yeah, I think we certainly make money.
Mhm.
That's not a concern. We definitely make money. Chris told me that the camps he looked in to do the comparison, we're talking apples and oranges. Like, there's no,
Right.
yeah, so
Right,
there's
you
no.
can't get no bulls and 10 acres.
I mean, he was specifically looking at other options Needham kids could sign up for,
Sure.
so we didn't look at other summer camps for Wellesley or Brookline. Now, Wellesley and Brookline is slightly higher, Norwood slightly lower,
Yeah.
Natick right around the same amount, so we're all in the same ballpark for what we offer.
Definitely.
I mean, also look at the track record of our pricing, I mean, I like to say, you're starting to peel back layers of the onion. There are a lot of things that we haven't increased in years, we just increased our user fees for the fields over how many years? I mean, if you look at that track record right there of where we were. Slow and steady, and it's still it's great value. I mean, $85 in 2012 to double it almost today. That's. And
I
slowly,
mean, it was $90. For 4 years,
Right,
jumped up a little in 2017, slightly lower in 2018. COVID came, that was our weird year, so we don't count that. Because it was minimal, the numbers were little, we
Sure.
didn't charge a lot, it was a shorter day, all the things. Then, so these are the real numbers. So this is what we're,
okay, it's a good question for us to always ask.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
charging them.
I mean, could we charge more? Absolutely, we could double that. And still be significantly less,
Mhm.
but I think, like the swim lessons. And I think camp is more, like, we wanna make it affordable, so everybody that wants to can come.
And we,
I also want us to make money. You said swim lessons, I think, to me are in a different category, because we
Okay.
want everybody to take some lessons. If we could give them all for free, I would say fine, but.
Yeah, I mean,
just
I
don't
think-
mind if we charge what is market for a recreation
We do.
program. That's all. Okay,
Because I did look, Brookline, Wellesley, Natick, Norwood. Medfield, some are slightly lower, some are slightly above, but
Okay.
we're all
in the ball.
we're all roughly around $10 an hour.
okay,
And that's basically what most of us shoot for.
That's a big jump from 2020. And so understanding maybe we're back to market rate, but that's.
Yep.
You're thinking about like. Budgeting of a family, that is a significant.
More than one child.
Yeah.
yeah,
Significant jump, and things in the 300s for a week. That's up there.
You're gonna think about it.
This is like
You're not
five-
gonna do fresh.
Yeah, this is not like, oh, easy, like, I'll
Right.
you know.
Even
Yeah, I
if they
mean,
go
I
every
have-
day, put them in fresh.
I have 3 kids in this age range, and if they went all 6 weeks. That's a good chunk of money.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
is it cheaper than hiring a babysitter? Sure.
Yeah.
But
if we think. Right, we think that's consistent to Cindy's point with what others are charging. I just think it's always helpful to see it from a percentage increase basis, having that like a year over year or average 5 year.
Right. I can
Because,
update these more. Chris gave them to me like 3 hours ago, and I just threw them in so that we had it. If
Yeah.
you want me to update them more with percentages?
Nice to see.
That would be relevant, I mean, because most of them
Yeah.
are about
Yeah.
10% from last year, but you know, some are a little less and more.
We can also put on, I can see if people have posted, like, I've reached out to some, but if there's more towns that have posted their camp fees, I can put those on there so we can see where they shake out.
I think it's hard to compare it to other options in the area because there's a real range of demographics within Needham, and those that are wanting to participate in this program are not.
And that's not the market that we
No,
serve.
right, and we want to make this attractive and affordable.
We have, this is very generalized, but we have two generally types of participants. We have the kids that come almost all summer. And the kids that come when they're not at their special needs.
Yeah,
We're the fill-in camp.
Yeah.
Or we're the everyday. By and large, that's where most of our people fall in. So we try to price it for the everydays, not the fillers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can update it and make sure that 2023 numbers are specific enough versus the 2024. See if I can go back to 2022 too. 21 and 20 were slightly different hours. So I won't go back that far because it just skews, it wasn't the same amount of hours per day. It was significantly less people per day because we were still playing the COVID game. Yeah. Yeah, that's no problem.
Okay. Do you need us to vote on that now, or?
We don't vote on it now. We have to most definitely vote on it the next meeting.
And that would be an easy thing, because it will just be, yeah, we'll vote on it the next meeting.
because we can circulate it ahead of time.
Mhm.
Like, right.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
we'll
right.
circle it, and just, I know Chris wants to put it up for registration in March, so that will give us enough time to really prep it.
Tell them you can start loading it in, just don't make it live.
It's already loaded and ready to go. All the college kids were around for
Well,
6
oh, yeah.
weeks.
Get it in.
Everything's ready to go.
Get in where you can. All right. Going back to the agenda, we're just gonna approve the minutes of the meeting of January 8th. All of us were here, so we can all vote on these. Any comments, questions, or concerns? Wow, she was very accurate on that time at 7:01 and 8 seconds.
I think she meant 7.
Oh,
The 8 is.
wow. Like a timestamp. Sorry. All right, any comments, anything? All right, I will make a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of January 8th, 2024. Do I hear a second?
Second.
There you go. All right. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes of January 8th, 2024, say aye. Aye. Right. Back up for the agenda. Issues not recently anticipated by the chair. Nothing that really kind of stuck out. Topics for future meetings. We will have a field summit next time. We will have that meeting starting at 6 o'clock. So if we can all be here like 5:45.
6 and 7.
I have a previous meeting.
That's
that's
fine.
why.
No problem, not
And
a
then
problem.
the regular meeting.
And then we'll have we'll take a 5-10 minute breather and then we'll jump into our regular schedule and it'll be a short condensed
Same time,
condensed
I have
meeting.
the same meeting.
Just for the crew, we have sent it out to Ed Olson to be here. Ryan Madden will be here with the assistant director.
We'll send it to everybody in our field user group.
Got
I usually even send it to the school groups
Cool.
because they are our field users. Whether or not they don't always come, but we always invite.
Okay, perfect then. Another topic for future meeting, I know that I saw an email come through, and I think Stacy, you've seen an email come through in regards to disc golf.
Yes,
So if we can maybe put them into the February 26th meeting, maybe just an update of where they are. I know they sent an email out to one of the select board members that she was forwarding.
They sure did.
I
They
know.
sure did. It did circle back to me.
Yep. Oh, and I responded up saying, seeing the same letter come through already. Thank you very much for your.
Yes, I also got one.
I got a little.
Oh, there you go. So.
You didn't get one.
So
Hey.
you want us?
You wish me luck in my election, I thought, my. I had to think you.
Oh,
Wow, alrighty then. Fantastic. Two quick things I do want to bring up. There were actually, in my opinion, two pieces of bad news that came up. We did lose Ford Peckham, who was a town meeting member, and I know he was for the pool, long time, you know. Yep. Always spoke up at town meeting. I knew him from years ago when I was the town crier. As part of that, so I know he was big, oh, we'll go with that later. Big supporter, and he will be missed. I know it was pneumonia that he had passed, and that was about 2 weeks ago. The other one exchange club number 2, so always will know through town. The other person that came up, and I knew of him and only had the chance of meeting him once, but was Bob Larson.
Long time exchange.
Yep. Long time exchange club member, town meeting member, I think, too.
Long time town meeting.
And I thought I read, used to teach archery, maybe for us, or,
No, he was quite an artist. I mean, he made a
Yes.
living as an artist. Really well known. He did. Comics, he did art. They used to do the color the phone book.
Yeah.
Do covers of different things anyway, but he made his living almost like as an artist.
so, but yeah, so two, heavy contributors to the town of Needle, they're no longer with us, so we wish them, well in their families and condolences out there. Next meetings, we have scheduled, we're good to go. If any conflicts, let Stacy or us know prior, so make sure we have a quorum. Anything else?
Maybe 2 days.
Go right
Well,
ahead.
one is on the 26th of February. I am away, so I don't know if he's away too.
I'll hopefully be on Zoom.
They came,
Or whatever part of the country.
and not in your car on Zoom.
No, I probably will be in my car, because it'll probably be, you don't get it, it's really quiet. And if it's on the screen. It's
I don't know if I can zoom in, but so just.
Okay, all right.
And then the other thing is have been seeing that the town is doing some kind of an inventory of where our AEDs are, or scavenged, whatever.
Are we allowed to? Are we allowed to participate for the gift card?
I don't mean, I don't know if I would have just, but I just thought that was commendable and that maybe that is, you're, like.
They're giving them like a whole month to do it.
Right. You don't know anything about it? Okay, so something, it's a scavenger hunt and who's running?
I want to say it's for health.
I think it's for them, so it's not. Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, I don't know, it must be on the meeting Facebook page, somehow it keeps popping up in front of me, and I was curious if you were part of it, or at least the results of it might be something that we would want to hand out to our user groups to. Right, to tell them where the AED, I mean, we know what one is,
Yeah.
we looked at it, checked it out.
Exactly.
Well, this one here, but we saw one down at Tazio.
And it works.
And it worked, I mean, well, we didn't actually. Thank you.
Yes.
But it was charged.
Chris, hold it.
Anyway, I thought that it looks like it's, pretty much, it looks like a great project, and maybe we could use the results of it in part of recreation. Yes, no, this is.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So,
All right. Seconded,
Second.
okay. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye. Aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much. Ooh,